Hello everyone, my name is Abhishek and welcome back to my channel. Today is day 6 of Python for DevOps series, and in this video we will deep dive into a concept called operators in Python. Let me tell you, this is the most easiest concept in the entire Python for DevOps series, and I'll also share a lot of notes and examples in today's video. For people who are watching this series for the first time, this is a dedicated Python series for DevOps engineers. We have already completed the first 5 episodes. The details, syllabus of the first 5 episodes, as well as all the other episodes, is available in this GitHub repository that I'm sharing. If you like the core syllabus, you can follow the first 5 episodes using the playlist called Python for DevOps on this channel. Now, going back to the concept, before we jump into day 6, let's quickly recap what we have learned in day 5. So in day 5, we learned about environment variables as well as command line arguments. These are very useful to parameterize your program or to feed input to your Python programs as well as functions. So if you haven't watched that, watch that. Please follow the examples and also do the assignment. Now, what we will learn in today's class is what exactly is an operator, what are the different types of operators and examples. You can go to the day 6 folder after following the class, after following the video. You again have detailed README file which will summarize all the different types of operators. And if you click on the notes folder, here for each of the operator in Python, there is a MD file which will explain about the operator, types of things in that particular operator, and examples. There is also notes as well as assignments. So in the assignment, you have questions plus answers. So there are 6 tasks that I'm giving you in this particular class. So out of these 6 tasks, skip task number 5 and 6 because these are the things that you can do at the later point of the course because we haven't covered about the sequence data types at this point of time. So let's move towards the whiteboard and understand what we will learn in detail in today's class. Operators. What exactly is an operator? You will be surprised if you are new to Python that you have already used a lot of operators in the first 5 classes. For any kind of operations on a single variable or multiple variables. To perform any operations, you will use something called as an operator. Abhishek, can you share an example? For sure. When we were learning the concept of functions, what we were doing, and also the variables, right? What we were trying to do is we were trying to write calculator program where I have explained you. Let's say there is a function called addition. And what did I tell you there? To perform addition of two variables, you will do something like a plus b. Or if you want to perform directly on integers, you will do 2 plus 3. This is nothing but an operator in Python. So if you are performing any operation, you would be using an operator. The operation can be anything. Like for example, even if you are saying a is equals to 5, this is an operator. So these operators are called as arithmetic operators, whereas these operators are called as an assignment operators. And whether you want to assign variables to a assign value to a variable, or you want to add to variables, subtract to variables, even if you want to compare two variables, everything in Python is an operator, right? So I have explained about arithmetic operator, assignment operator, but what are the other type of operators? So for that reason, I have the notes here. If you go to the README file, you will see the list of operators that are available. So there is arithmetic operator, assignment operator, relational operators, logical operators, and identity operators. But what about these things? Don't worry, membership operators and bitwise operators. So for membership operators, you need to understand the sequence data types a little more. So I'll cover this at the later point of time of this series. We don't use bitwise operators as much because we don't perform any operations at the bitwise level. So it is not needed from the DevOps point of view as much. And precedence of the operator, again, you need to know all of the operators. So we'll wait for this as well. For now, in today's class, you need to focus on the first 5 operators where the detailed notes is available. Let's start with arithmetic operators. So Abhishek, I already know about arithmetic operators, but wait. In the arithmetic operators, you only know about plus, minus, multiplication, and division. These are the only 4 things that you know. But as Python users, we also use few things like a float division of b. What exactly this means? I know a divided by b, where I am trying to perform division. If I'm saying 3 by 2, the output is 1.5. I know this particular thing. But what exactly a divided by b means? This means that instead of 1.5, you will get output as 1. So this is nothing but a regular division, and this is nothing but a float division. In float division, you don't get the decimal values, right? There are many ways or many reasons why you need this. Let's say when you are calculating a particular thing, best example is probably you are calculating the resource usage. Okay, where instead of saying 2.15 GB of resources are used, probably in your program you just want to return that 2 GB of RAM is used. Okay, or instead of saying 2.2 CPU is used, you just want to say 2 CPUs are occupied. So in such cases you would go with float division instead of a regular division. I'll show this on the terminal as well, don't worry. And another concept that you need to know in the arithmetic operators. So we learned about these things already. Now you learned about float division. There is another concept called modulus. Modulus is nothing but, you know, if you want to get reminder of a division, that means when you do, let's say 16 by 13. Okay, let's say you are doing this. What is the reminder? Reminder is 3 because 13 ones is 13 ones is 13 and 3 is left. So 3 is the reminder. In Python, if you want to get that, how will you do is you can simply do 16 percentile of 13. Okay, this is not division. Division has to be represent using a single slash. If you are doing in this particular way, you are doing a modulus and this will return reminder. Right here I am mentioned wrong. This is actually this. Okay, so what did I cover just now? Because people get confused when you do a divided by b. Let's take numbers so that it is easy. When you do 16 by 13, okay, 16, 13 and 16 modulus of 13. Okay, so what happens is here the output is 1 point something. Because you are doing a basic division, you will get 1 point something, right? 1.2, something like that. Okay, and here basically you are doing a float division, so the output would be 1. And here when you are doing modulus, output will be 3 because you are trying to get the reminder. Okay, you need to practice these things. Let me quickly show you how to do this. What you can do is go to your Visual Studio Code, or if you're using code spaces like me, for this simple operations, you don't need to write a Python file. What you can simply do is you can go to your terminal and type Python. Okay, there is a command prompt that pops up for you. And here you can practice these things. So, you can just do 16 modulus of 13 and see what is the output. Okay, and here you can simply say 16 by 13. See what is the output. 16 float division of 13. What is the output? Okay, so when you want to do basic things, you can perform in this way. And if you want to come out of this prompt, you can just click Control plus D or exit bracket bracket, open bracket, close bracket. Okay, if you do either of these things, you will come out of the prompt. So if you want to try out a single command in Python, or if you want to see what is the output of a command in Python, you can use this way instead of writing a file and executing the file, right? So this is about arithmetic operators. Again, these things are available in the notes as well, and you can also practice them. Next is assignment operators. I've explained you what exactly is an assignment operator, right? So if you are saying something like this, a is equals to 5, this is an assignment operator. Why this is an assignment operator? Here you are doing an operation in Python, right? A is equals to 5 is an operation. For that, you need an operator for compiler or an interpreter to understand. In Python, it's interpreter. For interpreter to understand that you are assigning this value to variable A, you need an assignment operator, right? Now, this is one type of assignment operator. In assignment operator, there are different things. The important thing is, let's say A is equals to 1. Now, I want to add 2 to A. So I can say A is equals to A plus 2. What would be the output? Output of this would be 3. I can write this in another way where I can simply say A plus is equals to 2. Watch this carefully. If I am saying A plus is equals to 2, Python will convert, this is plus, okay? Python will convert A plus is equals to 2 to A is equals to A plus 2. So you can understand this is a shortcut of writing this form. And this way of writing is called as an addition assignment operator. Okay, because you are combining both of them. So we call it addition assignment operator. Or you can simply call it as plus is equals to. Okay. Similarly, you can perform A is equals to 3, A is equals to A minus 2, value would be 1. Instead of writing this, you can write A minus is equals to 2. Value will also be 1. Let's try to see if what I said is correct or wrong. Okay. For that, what I'll do again, I'll just come here, Python, and here I'll say A is equals to 3. Now I'll say A plus is equals to 2. Print of A, value will be 5. Now let's subtract 2 from it. So I'll say A minus is equals to 2. Again, let's say print of A, value would be 3. Right? Now just do exit and come out of the prompt. So this is about assignment operators. So in assignment operator, again, you have examples. You can just try it out, the examples that are provided in the README file, sorry, the MD file. Bitwise operators, like I told you, ignore bitwise operators because we don't perform anything at the bit level. But if you want, you can read. I have provided the notes. Then you have identity operators, which is very, very simple. That is, if you have a variable called A, you will say A is equals to 5. Then you have another variable called B. Here you will say B is equals to 5. Let's say I want to verify if both of them are same or not. So I can simply say A is B. And this particular thing is called as an identity operator. If this is true, then it will return a Boolean value called true. If the statement is false, if A is not B, then it will return a Boolean value called false. What is Boolean? Boolean is a data type, right? Similar to string data type, integer data type, there is another data type called Boolean, and that has only 2 values. So Boolean data type, unlike string, in string you can say A is equals to Abhishek, A is equals to Veeramalla, A is equals to Rahul, etc., etc. But in Boolean, you can only say A is equals to true or A is equals to false. These are the only 2 values for a Boolean variable. Okay. And if you are doing something like this, A is equals to, in between underquotes, if you are writing true, then that becomes a string. If you are not writing it, then that becomes a Boolean. That's the only difference. Don't worry, we will use a lot of Boolean. No problem if you don't understand. But for now, just understand that if I don't have to deviate the topic, identity operator is nothing but if you want to verify if 2 variables are same or not, you can write a statement called A is B. If the output is true, if the output of this statement is true, then the value will be true. If the output of this statement is false, then the value will be false. Got it? There is another identity operator where instead of is, you can also say is not. So again, this is a statement. So if A is not B, that is, if A is equals to 2 and B is equals to 3. And here, if you run this line called A is not B, then the value will be true because this statement is correct, right? A is actually not B. If A is not B, here again, if I change B is equals to 2, this will be false because this statement is false. Okay. If it is complicated, don't worry. Let's write and understand. Python, A is equals to 2, B is equals to 3. Now, if I do A is B, what should be the value? Yes, the value has to be false. Perfect. If I do A is not B, the value has to be true because the output of this statement, right? Even if you think A is actually not B, so this is perfect. Now you might be thinking, but Abhishek, why should I learn this thing as a DevOps engineer? Like, what is a use case? Let me tell you. Let's say in your Python program, you are fetching or you are comparing two EC2 instances. Okay, EC2 instance 1 and EC2 instance 2. So your job is to fetch two EC2 instances and compare them. That is, in comparison, you want to verify if both of them have similar CPU and RAM. So what you will do, using some Python modules, you will fetch the EC2 instance, and here you will understand that for this instance, let's say RAM is 4 and CPU is also 4. For this instance, RAM is 3 and CPU is 4. Okay. Now, if you don't use the identity operator for comparison point of view, how will you understand they are same or not? The easiest way is use an identity operator and say EC2 instance 1 underscore RAM is EC2 instance 2 underscore RAM. If the output is true, then tell to the user that yes, both the EC2 instances are looking similar. If not, then say false. Perfect. This is how we use identity operators. Now, what is left after that? We have logical operators. Okay. So we learned about arithmetic operator. We learned about bitwise operator. We learned about identity operator. Now let's learn about logical operator. So logical operator is basically very, very simple. It actually executes only on the Boolean. Okay. Like I told you, in Boolean, you have true and false only. Okay. So if we use the same example as previously, I said A is B. Okay. Where I said, for example, A is equals to 3, B is equals to 2. And if I say A is B, what is output? Output is nothing but true, right? And here, again, I can say something like C is equals to 2, D is equals to 1. A is B. Sorry, here output is false, right? Here I'll say A is B. Again, output is false. Now, if you want to use logical operators, what you basically do is probably you want to compare this one and this one together. Okay. You want to see output of this plus this together. Then you have something called as and or, right? And another thing you have is not. For now, let's talk about and or. When you want to verify if two conditions, okay, are true or not, or you want to say if only this condition and this condition are true, then return the value as true. If this condition is true and this condition is false, then return the value as false. Okay. Now, if you want to make such kind of decisions in Python, you have something called as logical operators. So logical operators have a very primary rule, that is, if you are giving true and true, okay, the output would be true. If you are giving true and false, output would be false. If you are giving false statement and another false statement, output would be again false. Okay, so here you have this particular thing which is called as a logical operator, and logical operator basically has some primary rules. That is, if two statements that you are giving, probably you will say Abhishek is male and surname of Abhishek is Veeramalla, both of them are true, so the output would be true. Okay, if one statement is true and another statement is false, the output would be false. Both statements are false, then the output would be false. We can take one example in DevOps point of view. Probably if you say EC2 instance is required for compute purpose in AWS, and you will say EC2 instance comes in free tier, then both of the conditions are true. So if you have and in between them, the answer is true. Or you can understand from this point of view. Okay, EC2 instance 1 size is 4 GB. Okay, and EC2 instance size 2 is also 4 GB. If both of the statements are right, then if you are using and, you will get the value or output as true. So here you have some examples also, right? So I have taken a very basic one and I've explained you x is equals to true and y is equals to false. If you are using a logical and operation, if both of these statements are true, only then you will get the value as true. Here, because one is true and one is false, output that you will get is false. So this only works on the Boolean operations. So logical operators only work on Boolean variables. Other than that, it doesn't work, right? So we will use Boolean variables when we were talking about the Python modules for DevOps engineers. So don't worry. For now, just try with these examples. After that, when we use real life use cases, you will understand logical operators a bit more. Finally, we have relation operators. Relational operators, you all can understand even without explaining, because relation operators are nothing but when you try to compare two variables. I say A is equals to 2, B is equals to 3. Now, you all know about this thing, right? A greater than B. So here, the one that you are trying to compare. Okay. So I'm not saying this is true. A greater than B is false. But whatever you are trying to use here to compare between both of these things is nothing but a relational operator. What are different types of relational operators that you can think? A greater than B, A less than B, A greater than equals to B, A less than or equals to B. There is one more thing which is called as A equals to B. Now, what is this? See, if you understood the concept of assignment operator, the problem here is if you want to assign value, the is equals to symbol is already taken by assignment operator. If you are doing A is equals to B, what will happen? The value of B will come into A. Now, what I want to do is instead of taking the value, I just want to compare if A is equals to B or not. Okay. So in such cases, instead of using single is equals to, you have to use 2 is equals to in between. What happens if you are using only 1 is equals to? Then this value will be copied into this value. But actually, I want to verify if both of the numbers are exactly equal or not, right? So if you are using A is equals to B, this is an assignment operator. If you are using A is equals to B, this is nothing but your relational operator. Okay. So in relational operators, you have A greater than B, A less than B, greater than is equals to, less than equals to, is equals to, is equals to. So we have examples here, and we also have some, commonly used operators in the relational operators, or commonly used things in the relational operator, right? So this is what we have for today. Just try all of the examples that are available here. And like I told you in the assignment, please do not try task number 4 and 6. So let's be precise. Yeah, Don't try task number 5 and task number 6 because these things are not covered yet. You need to cover task number 1, 2, 3, 4. And what I'll do is, for now, I already have the answers, but please don't try to look at that. Okay. Let's try to complete the assignment without looking at the answers, because everything that I have explained, you can do with that. You don't have to refer that. If you're still not able to get the answers, then try to refer to it. Okay. So thank you so much for watching today's video. Stay tuned for the next one, where we will start with some advanced concepts in Python. Take care, everyone. Bye bye.